know, we're talking ribs, baby. Nothing better than ribs. We are digging in not only to the barbecue ribs, something a little substantial for our hump day. We're talking ribs, and we're talking the your version of a French dip. Look what we have in the kitchen this morning. We have Chef Scott from Roaring Fork, and we are so excited. I have to tell you, and you guys need to know this at home. How late did you work last night?
Last night we closed at about 10 o'clock and got out of there 11-ish.
Okay, and then he went home, he slept very quickly, got up at 5 o'clock this morning to make the ribs, just for us.
Ribs take a long time. That's the big thing that you really have to understand about ribs is you can't just throw it in the oven and forget about it. It's a labor of love. You have to prep them, season them, massage them a little bit, love them a little bit, and then set them into their cooking, you know. For us, we like to smoke them at a very low temperature of 250, and we do that for about 4.5 to 5 hours at minimum.
Wow.
Yeah, depending on the thickness of the ribs and how many we're doing, it can vary a lot, but it is definitely a slow process for sure.
Are these beef or pork?
We use pork ribs, and we use a St. Louis cut, which is the middle of the ribs. The top is the baby back. That has that big fat loin on top, and then the bottom is where you get those rib tips, the kind of funky ones.
Yeah.
So we like the nice consistent piece in the middle that really gives us a steady product.
Now, is this a full rack? Would you?
Yes, ma'am.
So we order full. That's what it would look like, and then what's that one?
What we do at the restaurant is we serve them in increments of 4. We serve a 4 with a side of slaw, and we serve 8 with a side of slaw.
Okay.
And then you can just keep adding on until your heart's content. But this is a full rack as it is naturally.
It's beautiful. Let's talk about the rub that you use. This is like your own little
This is a very
right?
special rub. I've given you guys the recipe on the internet. This is something that we've developed in the kitchen with 3 or 4 of our cooks, and we've really spent a long time developing it. What we do is we rub it onto the pork about 2, maybe 3 hours prior, and really let it soak in, and then we'll start the smoking process.
Okay, so you're going to make the slaw for us this morning, because this is kind of another unique twist to how you guys serve up something that's kind of typical, a little atypical here. What do you have here?
All right, so it's really basic slaw. It's going to be carrots and cabbage, and then we add our special touch is the candied jalapenos.
Candied jalapenos, how does that work?
Candied jalapenos are very simple. They're just sliced jalapenos that we have cooked in what's called simple syrup. And simple syrup is equal parts of sugar and water. So 1 cup water, 1 cup sugar. You boil them down until they're super soft. And what happens is it takes all that heat out. And I am not a fan of spice very much. Really? But they're super sweet, and they have just that little jalapeno flavor. It's not very...
They're not hot?
Yeah, not very spicy. I do, because I can't handle heat at all. We leave the seeds, leave everything in there.
Ooh.
Right?
Got a little bit of a bite.
A little bit, just enough.
A little tiny bite, but sweet.
Right. And then
I mean, literally.
Exactly. And then what we do is we take that simple syrup, and we mix it with a house-made mayonnaise, coriander seeds, and cilantro. And then
the simple syrup that you use to cook the jalapenos?
The simple syrup goes in with the mayonnaise, and that's what makes the sweetness of our coleslaw dressing. And then we just season it up with a little white balsamic to give it the tang. And then we just serve it up in a nice little, handful size serving in a little kettle.
Just like that right over there?
Just like that guy right there.
All right.
So that would be our 4 ribs ready for your enjoyment. And I have some all hot and ready if you'd like to try a bite.
I thought you would never ask.
Of course.
You got a pan there? Okay.
Yeah, I got it all set up for you.
Of course you do.
There we go. Now they're gonna be warm, I warn you.
All right.
I got 1, 2, I'll try and get in there too here.
Okay.
So you
Are they hot?
They're not too bad.
Well, you got
definitely
chef hands.
edible, right?
Okay. Ooh, ow, ooh, ah. Oh.
You can taste the smoke, you can taste the pork, and then that barbecue sauce just adds a little moisture and kind of pushes it over the edge for you.
Rub recipe on the website. Coleslaw recipe you've given us before.
Yes, ma'am.
Hopefully it's still there. In the next segment, we're going to make Scott's going to make his version of what they call, it's a French dip, but do you call it
We call it a
something
beef
else?
dip because we use all of our hand-cut steak trim and put that into the sandwich, so it's not just, you know, roast beef per se. It's actually steak cuts.
Good stuff, Susan.